Hello, I'm Robert Grant, and welcome to LearnMyShot.com. Today we're going to shoot an abstract image using a simple, inexpensive clamp light and a camera on a semi-automatic mode. So let's get over to our set and get started.
First, let's set up the camera. We're going to adjust it to AV for aperture value so that we set the f-stop, or aperture of the lens, and the camera will automatically select the speed. You can see here with the readout, we have selected f11 and the camera has automatically selected 1/4 of a second. We're going to be on manual focus and adjust the focus ourselves, and the stabilizer is off. We're using a 17 to 85 millimeter zoom lens, and because of our distance to our subject, we're going to be at 24 millimeters, which is toward the wide angle end of the lens. As a subject, I've selected 4 colorful objects from the art supply store. As the camera pans back, you'll see our clamp light over the top with an ordinary household bulb and our camera set up on the tripod on the left. Let's take our first exposure. And here it is. Our light is above and slightly behind the objects. We're shooting at f11, so we have total focus at 1/4 of a second. Here I'm going to move in and bring the light forward and over the top of the objects, lighting the front much more openly than the first shot. Let's shoot one here and take a look at that. The lighting is very even and open now, but not very dramatic. Let's move the light again well behind our objects and see what we get. Here I'm going to go in and take the light stand and move it well behind the position of the first shot to create longer shadows and more dramatic effect. Let's shoot one here. Well, we certainly have a more dramatic effect, but I don't like the shadows being so soft edged. But let's look at the 3 shots together. On the left we have our first shot with the light over the top and slightly back, the middle shot with the light over the top and lighting the front, and our last shot with the dramatic shadows with the light farther back. What I want to try to do is sharpen the foreground shadows. So to do that, I'm going to take out the frosted bulb. You can see the frosted household bulb there. I'm going to put in a clear bulb, which will not diffuse the light as much. You can see it's much harder light already. Let's take a shot here. Well, that's much better. The shadow's a bit harder. The only problem is we have 2 shades of tone in the shadow. Let's look at the 4 shots together and then try to fix that problem. Here we can see the progression of our work, from the photo in the upper left-hand corner to the photo in the lower right-hand corner. But let's work on that shadow a little bit more. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to remove the reflector and just have a bare bulb, which will be a sharper light than with the reflector. Also note that you should have black around your set so that your light does not bounce off of anything and open up those shadows. We're trying to maintain a very dark black shadow. So let's make an exposure here. Well, this is pretty good. Our shadows now resemble the shape of our objects. And the shadow was one solid tone. Let's look at those two shots together. The shot on the left with the reflector, the shadow has two tones. The shot on the right without the reflector is a one-tone solid shadow. Now I'm going to move in and bring the light forward to shorten the shadow a bit and move the objects apart so that light hits the tops of each one. I'm going to place the light more overhead to shorten the shadow a bit more and light the tops of the objects, while maintaining the front edges to be very dark.
And here's our final result. Using that hard light over the top and colorful objects, we've created quite an abstract image. So give this a try. Use a white background and a hard light. Be creative and have some fun. We hope you enjoyed this video on hard lighting and can see how dramatic shadows can enhance a shot. And using a simple clamp light from the hardware store as a light source makes it affordable. Using your camera on a semi-automatic mode makes it easy. So look for us again at LearnMyShot.com.